Hello everyone, this is Arifa, your performance management tutor. I've come today to tell you 3 tips how you can ace the PM paper. So the first tip is about theory. Theory is as important in performance management as the calculations. You know that PM tests your technical grasp of management accounting concepts through calculations, but also interpretation and analysis of these numbers. So 2 ways in which you can make your theory concepts better is first to do the reading of the concepts twice. One time as if you're reading a novel, and the second time you skim through the keywords and the key learning concepts. And the second way in which you can make your theory base strong is read technical articles. Read the wrong answers at the back of the BPP kit, not just the right answers, but also why the wrong answers are wrong. This is going to make your understanding of concepts better. The second tip is about time management. So time management is very crucial in PM exam. Make sure that you're not exceeding 1 hour and 15 minutes for both section A and B. This will give you enough time for section C. That's where you need your analysis, that's where you need your thinking caps to be on. The third tip is very simple. You need to practice, practice and practice more from past papers, mock exams, from specimens of past exams. All of these you need to practice. That's how you will be stronger and more confident with your time management as well. In conclusion, I'd like to say yes, PM is a challenging paper, but with the right approach and a positive attitude, you can ace this exam. So all the best to you.
Hi, this is Abby from Phoenix Financial Training, your tax tutor, and I'm here to give you final tips before your tax exam. Well, there's 3 things that you should keep in mind before you attempt your exam. And the first thing is to go back through your mock exam feedback. You need to know what went wrong in the mock exam. Sometimes you might have thought that you did the paper well, but some questions that might have surprised you, maybe the rules that you've applied might be wrong, maybe the number calculation might be wrong. So it's important to identify where you went wrong so that you don't make those mistakes in your exam. That's the first thing. The second thing is it's important for you to go through the examiner's report and the pre-mock that is published by ACCA, both of which has been sent to you already. So please make sure you do those questions and the answer. Now, I have sent the answers to you as well. So I don't want you to just read the question and read the answer. I want you to solve them so that you know what you're not understanding, or maybe you might be taking more time than the required time limit. So it's important you take the answer with the restricted time so you know how you're doing in that bit. And the last bit is to make sure you go through all the summary sheets. I've been emphasizing that from the day 1 of my class. Tax is all about the rules. So if you spend more than enough time to go through these rules, by heart them, and keep revising and by hearting them again, I'm sure you will get through the exam. All the best, and I'm sure you will do well.
Hey guys, so here are 3 financial reporting tips to ace your exam this time. Firstly, time management. If you haven't timed it, you haven't done it. Make sure you're practicing at 1.8 minutes per mark, because otherwise, no matter how good you are at it, it becomes very difficult to perform under time pressure, right? Secondly, the accounting standards. Please make sure that you study these accounting standards and their details like a story. You understand how everything is dealt with, how you deal with their measurement, how you deal with their presentation. Don't just go behind learning the points, also follow the knowledge behind them. These standards are like small parts of a puzzle that come together to make a bigger picture. Your section A and section B will be full of these accounting standards. So make sure that your standards are solid. Last but not the least, the interpretation of these ratios. This is the most underperformed section of the FR exam so far, because the examiners keep saying they are getting bookish answers. Make sure your answers are relevant to the scenario, they are well performed in terms of their layout, and they are connected with the points discussed. Don't give them general explanations that this ratio has gone up, this ratio has gone down. Also back it up with the proper reason. I wish you all the best of luck for your FR exam this March sitting.
Hello everyone, these are your final words for your Audit and Assurance paper before you guys approach your March exams. 3 main things that you guys need to remember before you go into the exam. The very first thing is obviously to make sure you keep it to the time. Time management is very crucial for this paper. So focus on trying to aim at 1.8 minutes per mark when you're approaching your paper and your questions. Try at 1.5 when you're practicing it, but the maximum you can take it to is 1.8 minutes per mark. So when you're practicing questions at home, please make sure you focus on your time management. The second element that you need to remember is revision of your accounting standards, guys. Keep in mind, accounting standards is very important for this paper. So try to go back to your FR related elements, FA related elements as well. Just go through that, revise through them, and it is important that you remember those accounting standards for your audit risk questions. Your third main tip for today is obviously to focus on how you write your answers. Okay, make sure you bring in a lot of explanation, a lot of clarity in your answers. We do not want any brief answers, we don't want any bullet points. Bullets are okay, but it has to be a fully well explained point when you're actually explaining your answers. Okay, so the last few things you need to remember is the topics that's going to come for your exams. You need to revise on audit risk. You need to talk about your controls questions as well. We need a lot of revision on your substantive procedures, guys. Make sure you're comfortable with, given any account balance, any class of transaction, you're able to create your substantive procedures. And finally is your audit reports, guys. As far as you're comfortable with these 4 topics, you're good to go for the exam. All the very best for your AA exams. Well, do well.
Hi, this is Mustafa from Phoenix Financial Training, here to give you some final tips before the FM exam. Tip number 1, do not neglect theory. Now, theory is a very, very important part of FM. In fact, around half or more than half of the paper will be theory questions. So make sure that you're doing the theory properly and you are completely comfortable with it. Tip number 2, ensure that you are getting those easy marks. Now, Section C questions have a lot of method marks out to give you, right? So if you find that there's a point where you don't know how to do a certain calculation, assume the number and get the method marks for the rest of the question, right? Getting these easy method marks could help you pass the exam. Tip number 3, ensure that you read all the options in the MCQ questions properly, read them correctly, and then choose the right option, right? Don't rush through the questions, read them properly. And lastly, I would say, ensure that you complete all the mocks that have been discussed in class. Ensure that you do all the practice questions in class, all the practice questions at the back of the book. And lastly, ensure that you get enough rest before the exam.